Hello guys and ghouls, welcome to the craft. Today we are going to build our own graveyard. This will be the first part of a two-part video, so let's go to the table and we'll start building those graves and tombstones. This graveyard is the goal of our craft today and really look great. So let's go to my crafting table and I'll show you how to easily make these. Alright guys, we're going to start with some cheap dollar store foam core or foam board, and I need to measure out my tombstones. So I'm going to use my ruler and measure them half an inch each. So I'll just mark on this piece of foam core that I got, and I go all the way down the line. And now I want to make them 2/3 of an inch tall, so I'll measure that at the top. And then just draw across, and I'm just going to use scissors to cut these out. Just pop them right out of the sheet. With the paper on, it's really easy to cut with scissors without destroying the foam core. And then I'll cut the tops off, okay, so they're the right height. And after I do that, I want to start shaping them. So this one I'm going to do a point on the top, this one I'm going to do a rounded top, and so on. So I'll just do some of them rounded and pointed, and some of them just square on the top, and that'll give a nice variation in the look of the graveyard, so all the tombstones won't be the same shape. Now, one thing I like about the dollar store foam cores, you can just peel the paper right off, right? And that's great. Okay, now I've peeled the paper off on both sides, and I'm adding detail to this, and I'm just using an ink pen, and you can see how easy that is. And it's really nice. The ink pen does an indentation into the foam that when you paint it, they'll be raised and lowered areas. So it's just really simple and easy to do. They're doing some more symbols on there, and what poor soul is buried in the grave, and some more, a little distressing on it, that kind of thing. So I'll just keep doing these, until I get them all done. Now I like to do them a little bit different, each one a little bit different, so they're not all the same. It doesn't look like the same grave, different symbols and things on them. So it makes it a little more interest. So there we go. Here's all the ones I've done. Really look cool. And yeah, that was just an ink pen and foam board from the dollar store. So now we need to apply them to our graves. So this is cork board that I got at the craft store, and I'm just going to measure out my graves. The graves are going to be, I need to get the strip first. You can make a lot of graves out of this piece. Now I'm going to measure the graves. They're going to be 1 inch wide by 2 inches long, and I'll just measure those along the strip that I created, and just mark them off. So don't worry about using this pen because we're going to paint them, so you won't even see these marks. So I'll just cut it out with my regular scissors and just get my graves. And so it just gives me a lot of graves there. I really like the cork board for the texture. It really looks nice, and so I am ready to go. So there we go. Look at that texture. Nice. Okay, so here's one of my graves, but it has a square edge. That doesn't look very realistic or nice. Obviously a grave would have an inclined edge. So what I'm going to do is use my X-Acto and carefully scrape off the edge of the cork to kind of get an incline down to the ground, so it'll look like an actual mound of dirt as opposed to just a square piece. So you can round off the corners a little bit. Be very careful. You don't want to get too violent with this. You don't want to knock too much cork off or gouge it too much. But there you go. You get a really nice mound there. Looks like a grave, and the texture is great. Okay, so here's my grave all ready, and I've got a tombstone. And to add it, I'm just going to simply use a hot glue gun and glue on the bottom there, and stick it on there. Now I got a little bit of hot glue coming out from the tombstone. I'll just spread that out so it blends. And I'm going to add a little more hot glue to the top, just for some variation on the grave itself as far as texture. I don't want to put too much, just a little bit. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to use some white glue on this. This will harden it up and give it a nice strength. So this is watered down white glue. It's half water, half glue, and I'll just brush that on, make sure that cork sucks it up. And you want to cover the tombstone too for strength. You can actually use full strength glue for the tombstone, but be careful, you don't want to cover the detail. So we got all that on there. And after we let this dry, we'll be ready for our next part in video 2. There we go. Clean your brush. Hey crafters, I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, make sure to give your Scotty a like. Also share the vids and check out my other vids and subscribe. I have hundreds of other vids if you're looking for crafting for your RPG games. Also make sure to join my Facebook or forum. We have a lot of helpful people on there with some great suggestions. And last but not least, go forth and craft. Oh, it's a Tombstones day. Roderick. Poor Roderick, I knew him well. Oh, wait, I'm Roderick. What?